It's muted. As we will get live into the pistol round here. Bomb has already been planted inside of the B site. Psycho and company trying to see if they can make this retake happen, which they already have a pretty good advantage of doing so. So they've had a couple of kills go their way, and Mo and KDO are also very low on HP, which really just kind of adds to the matter. As Crazy continues to pour in, we see Mo fighting back a good bit, and now it's all on Norbert, though, at the back of New Box. He'll be quickly dealt with, and that is going to be all she wrote as Crazy. We'll jump up to a 1-0 lead.
Hey, that play in the smoke from Psycho was so sick. Just hiding in the smoke, bypassing the aggression, taking Nealon down completely unaware, and because they were so softened up on the initial push, it was pretty straightforward to go for the retake. So I really love that play, and yeah, I mean, Crazy off to a cracking start. Syman with a post plant have some decisions to make. They're going to go in for more of a half by, it seems, like with Deagles and some nades.
Yeah, I'm just kind of curious to see how things play out. I mean, Dim QQ and Sensei were consistently impressing me in their previous series, a very close loss to fours. Toxic and Psycho also had their moments. So it seems like they have like a lot of mechanical skill on that team, whereas on the Syman side, Norbert's been kind of touted as an upcoming talent, but has been a bit inconsistent. Mo is kind of that veteran player who's a pretty stable opper, not like one of the big names anymore, but still someone that you can kind of look to do pretty decent. But outside of that, I'm not really sure what else they have, and they've had a lot of roster changes lately, and they've had mixed results. So it's going to be an interesting matchup, and so far Crazy are cashing in on the pistol round victory with a couple of kills here with the rifle on this one, but they've had at least one frag go the way this time, but it looks like that might be about it, Vince.
It does seem that way, and indeed that will be the case. Psycho with 2 on his MP9, and yet it does feel like you have the unknown quantity of Crazy, which obviously we got to see earlier today, have an actually pretty solid performance against a team that we do kind of know, but they're a quantity that doesn't really have much stock, because as they were talking about, the ratings are really poor, the statistics aren't there, the performance hasn't been there. So it's like, it's a hard one for me to predict, because on the one hand, Syman, they have the veteran players, but maybe just not the consistency that we would need to really go with them in this game.
Yeah, and to be fair, like Syman, I wouldn't even say is that known of a quantity either. I think Mo's only been on the team since maybe February. And then, because he came back after, because I think he was playing on a team in China, or was going to, before the whole COVID situation happened. So he's come back, and now he's playing on this team. And then they just picked up KDO very recently, and have only played in just a couple of tournaments prior to this one. So not very many maps under their belt as a 5. So they're kind of on equal footing in that regard, as far as not having a whole lot of official results to show for themselves, to give us an idea of who they are as a team. Which makes it very hard for me as like an analyst type guy to kind of read these teams and know what to expect. But like you said, at least we did get to see a little bit of Crazy earlier today. At least saw what they're capable of mechanically.
Yeah, certainly. And even then, it wasn't necessarily a huge amount to go off, just the one best of 3. There are a couple of players that really stood out to me, Sensei being the main one. Obviously, he will be their currently playing on the porch and waiting with his M4 for a potential push. Syman now starting to pick up the pace through Banana, but Psycho with his MP9 is going to be able to finalize the kill onto Kiosk, which is going to definitely delay this push a little bit longer. There's Norbert, though, one of those players to definitely keep an eye on, showing his position in the boiler side. And now Syman, 25 seconds to spare, are going to start to push on B. It's going to have to be a pretty clean push. They've already lost one player on the pursuit. The bomb's also dropped out. They have to go back and pick this up. This is wasting more valuable time and allowing the CTs to get that a little bit closer. But they're going to be clumped up together, moving through on the ruins. And the spray transfer from Cade is solid and will yield the round for Syman Gaming. A bit of a lackluster middle portion to that round, but they do just about recover.
Big round to win for Syman to get on the board as quickly as possible and not let Crazy get the 3-0 start and get rolling. And this puts the economy in disarray for Crazy. They will force up what they can. A couple of Deagles, a Scout, a FAMAS, alongside the M4 of Psycho. We're going to see them looking to get a little bit aggressive here over towards Banana. Molotov will force them back, at least for now. They may look to re-aggress with Sergey's smoke grenade here, but they're taking a lot of heat along the way.
Yeah, that heat certainly has been turned up a little bit. Not enough to burn them out of the round just yet. Able to stand their ground, albeit at the cost of some HP, but Neelan, Dem, QQ, and Psycho have all felt that sting. Molly and Smoke's being deployed top of Banana. 3 players still there on Crazy, so they haven't fully given away the strategical element of this stack. And Syman would do well to bypass this. It definitely is a threat to watch out for. Especially considering that actually all of the weapons, the upgraded weapons, actually fall on B. The 2 Deagles are on A site, and now the bomb is going to start to transition and pivot toward.
I miss Smoke kind of there over towards the roof of the B bomb site, though I don't know that it's really going to have much impact. As you said, it was a focus stack on B that's not really going to be rocked by anything. And like you said, just the Deagles here on the A side, one being pushed out of the porch there with the Molotov, as Norbert sweeps around Moto with 1 kill under his belt already and finds the site player as well. So that's pretty much all she wrote. The better weapons will just save and try to carry over into the next round and try to pose an equal but better threats. And that will tie us up here to a piece. Again, this is an elimination best of 3, so loser is out of the tournament. Winner will move on to tomorrow for one of our decider games. So we'll have 2 best of 3s going on tomorrow.
Indeed, and then 2 best of 3s the day after, and then after that the qualifiers to the main event are done, and the main event will begin. So plenty of CS here at the WePlay Twitch channel in the upcoming week or two. 2-2 is the scoreline now. Syman able to connect the dots and without loss of life. However, Crazy saved 3 guns, so they can justify maybe forcing behind these 2 and going all in round 5. Whether they do or not's yet to be seen, because they do have that economy in the strange position of being able to afford in the next round regardless. So you can go for almost like a fairly poor buy here, and then you can get another decent buy in the next round. So fair enough. They decided not to go.
Can certainly understand that decision process, as they want to make sure they can get a nice full buy in the next round. Psycho, though, just clean rips the head off the kiosk there at the M4. Just straight ripped him. He has done a Van Gogh painting there on the wall.
Does force Syman back a couple of steps. They're now going to relocate and think about potentially going up middle. Crazy not going to go too aggressively as a result of their lack of firepower and having the player advantage. They can afford to play a little bit more passively. If it were the other way around and they were trailing by a play, you'd expect to see some kind of intel gathering so they could try and stack the opposite side. But they feel pretty comfortable right now that their positions are going to be solid enough to mount a serious threat and potential retaliation. 50 seconds to play with for Syman as the team is starting to make a move into apps. Starting to draw away. Mo, pardon me, has a good position at top banana. So they can play off the back of this. They still have plenty of utility. Enough to blot out CT and coffins, plus some mollies and flashbangs. They're going to be tossing them in. Now they're actually blocking each other, and Psycho nearly loses his life, but that was a really awkward exchange. Mo tagged up, but they are able to cross to the site and should be able to get the plant down. Sergiz wants to wait for the rest of his teammates to arrive. Mo being tagged up through the smoke, not going to drop, but 32 HP remaining for him. And now the cavalry, the support, the reinforcements is on the horizon. It's about to join the rest of the troops. That smoke won't last forever. And when it does clear, Sensei is going to try and put the scout shot down range into the head of Neelan, who's hiding on the new boxes. Taking some shots, speculative at best, but now Psycho shows his hand, shows his prowess, shows his position, but he has been dealt with accordingly. Neelan, 7 HP, last man standing, but he holds his ground with the AK-47, and Syman do lose 4 players, but they pick up the round and take the lead.
Yeah, it was certainly a weathered and laborious victory, but they did get the job done, as you said. They will have to rebuy 4 of their players. It does keep their money somewhat in check, which is something that Crazy could look to punish if they can find a good result in this next round. As they will be able to get full M4s, FAMAS, and such, but no AWP will be in play for Sensei, which is a bit of a sore spot because I feel like he's definitely been one of their most impactful players. I'm sure he'd love to have that weapon as soon as possible, but they will have to settle without it. And again, we've seen several of their riflers pop off today at different moments. I think Dim QQ's kind of been the most consistent one.
Yeah, DemQQ is definitely up there. I think in terms of like skill ceiling and a player that can really pop off out of nowhere and has the X factor, for me it would probably be more like Sensei. But DemQQ is the kind of player that seems to just chug along and is constantly fairly consistent. Obviously, we're using that. Yeah, exactly. We're saying that, but we're basing this off one best of three. So, I mean, it's possibly just had a solid best of three last time around.
Really an aim at times from Toxic and Psycho.
Sure.
DimQQ's game looked like more well-rounded, I guess you could say. But I think that they're all obviously young players kind of coming up together and being formed by Jonta, who's a very experienced coach. And so I expect over time they'll get better and better. And this round, though, they're having quite a lot of problems as Kios has found a couple. KDO as well as pitched in. E-bomb site now taken. And it's only DimQQ left, so it's been a pretty straightforward and dominant round here from Syman, who have now been able to put a 4th round in a row on the board. Outside of the pistol victory for Crazy, they have been getting shut down. They've had one round that was really close, but we've also had a couple of rounds here that have been pretty dominant from Syman. They had one flawless victory in that round. They only lost one player, so they're really getting their groove on here on the T side, that is for certain, and there's really not a whole lot Crazy can do about it in the following round, as they'll have to just kind of settle for upgraded pistols. Great chance for Syman to keep building up the lead.
DemQ has a really good spawn for middle, or maybe pushing into apps. I'm curious with that CZ if he's going to try some aggression. He does. They're going to try and take the fight to Syman. It makes a lot of sense to me. Perched up, down the bottom and middle next to the bench. It's a position that sometimes doesn't get checked, but now that some pistol shots are rattling out, I think that probably will give the general idea of the round away from Crazy's perspective. And they're playing this one very passively. The backside, the T side of second mid and bridge. So that kind of bypasses the whole idea that DemQQ had, but he goes aggressively into T-steps instead and will at least get the one. Sensei elsewhere comes through with a P250, so it's a pretty solid round, all things considered. And if DemQQ can take another kill down, that's where things start to get a little bit interesting. They've done a really good job of bypassing these T players. Dem definitely needs to reload. Only 2 bullets left in that CZ, and no one's close by. He runs into the very real risk if he actually goes into a confrontation of just running out of ammunition and awkwardly being sat there while he tries to reload. But may not end up happening because Syman have actually pushed through to the site. He's found an AK and a Molotov. No point going for this. Just save the gun.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The AK is all that he was really looking for. Now he will take care of that CZ reload, Vince. I hope you're satisfied.
My OCD is cured. Thank you.
Thank you. Jinx.
I can't remember what I have to do a Jinx. Honestly, it's been so long.
Like you owe me a soda or something like that.
Soda. Okay.
Something like that. It was more specific, but I don't want to like shout out brands.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
It was a specific type of soda.
The tactical, the first of the best of 3, as Crazy and Syman run through the gauntlet today. In other best of 3s now facing off against elimination, as Dust highlighted before, the winner of which will play again tomorrow. The loser is done. It's over for them.
Yes. Dunzo is the correct word.
Our maps, Inferno first, obviously, as you can see. Nuke will be second, and Train, if we need it, will be the third. Okay. So we've casted Train a few times today.
Yeah. We've pretty much casted everything. Trying to think what map we haven't casted.
Overpass. We haven't casted Overpass.
That's true.
Which is, it feels bad because it's one of my favorite maps. But
I think that is the only one we haven't casted today.
I think so. I think you're actually spot on. Vertigo, Mirage, Inferno, Train, Nuke.
What do you know? I happen to know a thing or two here and there.
Smashed that analysis. Absolutely smashed it. DemQQ, nearly. Flash is going to force him away. At least he's able to tell the tale as he's still alive. Damage inflicted to Toxic, does dish it out additionally, but somehow nobody has fallen. Correct that statement. Sensei is chipped in for the first, and now DemQQ will fall prey to the AK of Cade, who goes in for seconds. Does get wallbanged from range on arches, but still able to keep himself alive and starts to reposition on the site, allowing some safe sanctuary for Neelan to get that bomb planted safely. Planted for both pit and the site, and it's looking far too strong for Crazy to even justify going in for this. So they have tapped out one more time. It will be Syman taking another round on the T side. This is now going to be 6 in a row.
Yeah, they're looking really good. I mean, Syman came into this looking pretty dire. I think they had lost like their last 5 best-of-3s in a row or something like that, or last 5 matches. And to be fair, you know, they've only been together a short amount of time with this 5, and even the core 4 have only been together for a few months, so there's not been a lot of time to build things and figure things out. And, you know, for Crazy, like we've said time and time again, brand new team of youngsters, not really much to know about them yet, very much on just the beginnings of their careers. But, again, they showed us a little bit of something against Force despite the loss, enough to make us interested, but unfortunately they haven't really carried it over as well. I think they lost 16-10, if I'm not mistaken, on Inferno to Force, and I think they got 5 rounds on both halves. So it's kind of a situation where they didn't really show anything too special on either side. They were kind of just doing decent on both. So they need to definitely figure something out here soon on the defense.
Yeah, you're spot on. It was 16-10 indeed. They won 16-13 on Train, if that's going to be the 3rd map if we need. And then we haven't seen them on... Syman grenade out onto Banana, but a bit too shallow. The T's are still down at the bottom side of Banana. Molotov now going to force them to stay in spot. Molotov, another smoke put down to extinct.
And remember that Force was a very B-heavy team, and they had a lot of success on getting bandit control against Crazy, and that's something to definitely keep an eye on in this game as well. Something that's going to, you know, cause for maybe some problems depending on what adjustments Crazy have made since they've played that match, or if they've talked things through about what needs to change. So they are going to have 3 players in the right place at the right time here when this attack comes in from Syman, but it's about whether or not they can get the frags, and that's a great time peek from Sensei. Get some assistance from Psycho as well. A great little trade.
Trade is good. Time is running low. Crazy need to hold the line. Mo piercing the smoke just over the top of it, but he doesn't check the close angle, and Sergey's gonna show himself with the M4. There's the double spray. A good hold for Crazy. Syman maybe just a little bit too slow on their approach. Something that may need to rectify going forward.
That's just a little bit unfortunate on their timing. They almost busted Crazy in transition, but Crazy also had like a good little bait and switch set up there, kind of with their opper, and were able to trade 2 for 1 on the top. So that was pretty well done. Need to build off of that though. Can't be allowing themselves to get reset here after having lost 6 rounds in a row. Their economy certainly isn't in the greatest of shape. Equal trade thus far at Banana. Bomb picked up by Kios. He'll meet up with this team over here as they're taking control of top middle, and oh my goodness, Norbert. Absolute blinder on Sensei. DimQQ at least able to trade.
Cade spray, not quite as crisp as Norbert, but the same result is going to do nicely. Crazy have Toxic in the wings, lurking triple spray, and that is the round going the way of Crazy after some pretty slick entry fragging work. And that's always going to be the danger when you overcommit to a site without covering and making sure all of those angles have been dealt.
When you only get a couple of kills on your A entry, you always have to worry about there's someone being pit or hiding in the site or inside of apartments. In that case, it was Toxic inside the apartments that went unchecked. Should definitely not be getting away with 3 kills. It's understandable, maybe he catches the first player off guard, but after that, you've got to be trading, and they just did not make it happen. And so that's a big round for Crazy to keep things close. Great utility combination there is going to put Sergey to rest. So Syman are trying to respond in kind but they've also taken so much damage, Vince. I mean, yeah, they got their frag, but look at what it cost them. 3 players severely damaged. Pretty much one bullet of anything is going to get rid of them.
I think we've already seen a bit of that FPL aim that Norbert possesses, that Pimp was talking about on the desk, where the guy, aim-wise, is very, very strong, and somebody you definitely don't want to take duels against, but in terms of the teamwork, it has seemed a little bit lackluster from Syman, and this crossfire is an absolute disaster zone. And it's going to go the way of Crazy pretty significantly. Kate pushing the Molotov, the audacity of that play. I mean, fair enough. It could have caught them off guard, but it's still going to go the way of Crazy. 5-6, already a good T-half, of course.
Yeah, 3 rounds in a row here, though, from Crazy, so they're finally starting to wake up, finally starting to connect the dots. Again, we talked about how they had a lot of players who at certain points in the 4 series showed that they had some good aim, some good skill. Now they're starting to line it up. And now they have what could be kind of a free round. I mean, not entirely. There's some Deagles and an AK out there, but certainly less than normal. And indeed, they are just pouncing on Syman with this aggression inside the apartments, and everything's going their way. Little time wasted there getting those 4 kills, leaving Chaos all alone.
Yeah, I like that player when you know you're up against pistols or a low buy. You're typically going to catch people in second mid as they try and rush up. And if they have Deagles on the bridge, that could be a little bit of a nuisance, but typically you're going to come out ahead gradually in that exchange that goes on for the more than sort of 2 or 3 seconds. So I like the call from Crazy, but Syman now have seen that. It's maybe something they can't realistically do over and over again and kind of churn it out. Economy-wise, Syman have gone all in. It's going to be at the cost of all AKs. There is a Galil in the mix. Now, of course, a little bit more powerful. And Sensei going to go for the delayed peak, and the timing could not have been sweeter from the Crazy Orpa. Toxic waiting in ups. It's going to be more of the same, and he's able to survive. He's able to pull back. And is daring Norbert to push through the smoke. He's winning out on that trade. Norbert lucky to survive.
Yeah, just a bit of a spray exchange there through the smoke, which can really go either way. You're kind of flying by the seat of your pants when you're going into those types of battles, but both of them walk away from it still alive, though, like you said, Norbert severely bleeding out. Trying to still take control of top middle in some form or fashion, but at this point, Crazy can just play standard since they have such a huge advantage right now in the 5-on-3. Haven't even really taken that much damage. I mean, I guess a little bit on Toxic, but mostly healthy. Smoke's now finally coming out on the A side, so it seems like they will be committing.
Well, after a shaky opening to the map, it seems like Crazy are now stabilizing somewhat. DemQQ nearly burning alive, and Pit needs to be careful. Now moving into Mini Pit instead. There is no gap in that smoke, so Mo is going to get safe sanctuary towards the alcove, the cubby spot. Norbert now coming in, different area of angle of approach, but he was mid-air. No accuracy, they line up for Kiosk though. Sprays them both down, 2v3, now a 2v2, and the HP isn't ideal for Syman, but Sensei down to a measly 22 HP as the push comes out. Mo misses his chance to re-engage. Headshot now delivered, and it's a 1v1. Next bullet may finalize, and Mo comes out swinging. That play from Kiosk with the 3K was huge, and Syman get across the finish line first to 7.
Yeah, that was a really tight round, but like you said, Kiosk, great little hat trick there. Gets him alive on the scoreboard. He had kind of been dwindling there for a while, and that's a big 1v2 clutch for Mo as well. That can't be understated. The pressure was on him a little bit as well to finish that thing off, and he was able to get the job done. Kiosk with the AWP goes out first at middle as he did have the better spawn, and he does come out victorious. Now the op will make its way back to Mo. Ooh, the nade damage that Toxic received to try to collect that op back was grueling, but he does indeed get the sniper back in his team's possession.
It's a great call, really. whether the player took it upon himself to just throw the nade speculatively or whether it was an IGL call. When that orb goes down through a smoke, you know they're going to try and pick it back up again. Sergej takes the opportunity to push the smoke with a flashbang alongside it and steals back a kill before escaping into the shadows of the banana smoke.
And that was a really risky play, but it evens the odds back up a bit, and it gives a little bit more freedom to these A players to feel safe to stay with 3 on the sites, which is exactly what they're going to need with this attack coming in as Norbert and company come sweeping through. The spacing and trading is perfect as this bomb will go down, and Sergej is only left to save, and that's going to be another round to Syman. 8 to their name, 2 in a row. After a big streak from CR4ZY where they were starting to make the comeback, Syman is holding them off at the pass. Making a great T side here. Not much money for CR4ZY for the final round of the half, Vince.
No, have to save or / exit frag into potential upgrade, but they are going to be on peanuts really come the end of this half. Syman looking good potentially to extend their lead to a 9-6, and that would be a really solid half. On the T side, this is their choice of maps. You're expecting them to have a decent show of it, but 9 is certainly good. I do like peanuts, yeah. They're very keto friendly.
You know what's weird? I'm not a fan of peanuts, but I love peanut butter. That I don't know.
Yeah, that
like,
is kind of weird. I can't
just sit down and eat peanuts. Like I guess I can eat like roasted, like honey roasted peanuts or something like that. Probably isn't very keto friendly, but yeah, dude, I don't know. I'm a peanut butter guy. Like, one of my snacks is, like, peanut butter and bananas. That's kind of a snack that I roll, but if you give me just plain peanuts, I ain't having it.
A little bit odd, but I can respect it. Peanut butter is god tier, of course. Unless you're allergic to peanuts, in which case, definitely isn't. Grenade out onto banana. Doesn't really do the same level of impact as I was expecting onto can pretty much just brush that aside. He has the Mach 10, so he's going to go aggressive whichever way Syman decide to push. So he did highlight the economy was in the slumps for CR4ZY, and it's going to be 2 MP9s and M4 for Mass and the Deagle. They don't have any kits, and it's going to be a concern. Toxic, not for the first time, going aggressively in apps, and he will be punished this time around. He's been playing each and every angle. Dem QQ, there's the MP9, can't get the second. There's Norbert and Mo come out swinging with authority. And they do connect flush on the jaw of CR4ZY for what could be the final time of the half.
Yeah.
Well played by Norbert, anticipating that flashbang. Does nothing to him. Actually flashing Sergej instead.
Yeah, dude, Norbert's on one right now, man. He has been absolutely crushing it this half. He's one of those guys that definitely did have that kind of, I don't know if you'd call it a reputation about him, but it seemed like a lot of people were saying that this guy had potential. And he definitely had his moments with Syman where it was looking like he was a very skilled player, but he's also had a few events where he's looked very off. So it seemed like consistency hasn't really been there for him. But when he is on and he's feeling it, he definitely can be very deadly, and he has been this half. And that's going to be 9 for Syman, with him really doing a lot of the work, if we're honest. Like, whether it was sweeping through apartments or entering up archway, I mean, he was really just kind of blowing up the scoreboard. Winds up with 98 ADR and a 1.5 KD.
Yeah, nothing too shabby about that performance. And yeah, I mean, they kind of touched on this on the desk as well. At one point, Norbert was being linked with some very big teams. You know, he was touted as the next big thing from the CIS region. He is, of course, Russian, so he'd fit into a bunch of different teams in there. It's a very interesting mix of nationalities as well on Syman. You have Kios, who's Belgian, 3 players who are from Kazakhstan, and then Norbert, who, of course, is from Russia. So you think if this guy can get a bit of consistency, surely there's going to be some of those next level teams that come knocking for a player like Norbert, because there's no doubt the guy has the potential. It's just whether he can realize it or not.
It kind of blows my mind that while we're talking about, you know, the CIS region a little bit more broadly, because, you know, that is, you know, the RMR event that we're commentating right now. It blows my mind with the amount of talent that is in the CIS region that only one CIS team's in the top 10 right now. I mean, you think about it. Buster, Kicker, Jame. You think about the guys over at Spirit like Idis Balance and Some Die Young. You think about some of the players we've seen today. You know, some of the fours guys like Z Power and Flit and Almazer, and it's kind of crazy to me that the talent hasn't come together enough to where you see one of those teams figure it out and start moving up the rankings, because it just seems like there's enough talent there in the region to make something happen, to make a team that's, you know, truly top 10 worthy. Spirit seems kind of close. They're like right outside the top 15. But yeah, it's kind of nuts.
Yeah, I completely agree with that assessment. And I think you look at, you know, you mentioned fours there. When Na'Vi were going through their kind of change up to their IGLing, and Boomich ended up coming in, and then you had a bunch of other kind of roster changes taking shape. I remember that Jerry was constantly being linked to them in some ways. You know, it was around that time where fours were really starting to make a move through like the CIS minors. I think at the Berlin minors, they really caused a bit of a splash and turned a lot of heads. And people were mentioning that Jerry could be like that next man to step up and maybe step up a tier list in terms of the CIS region. So it's mad to me. Like you could make two kind of all-star superpower teams out of the CIS region. You really could. Obviously, it's easier said than done because you have to take into account like personalities and all that kind of stuff as well. It's not as easy as that. It's not as black and white. There's a lot of gray area there.
I mean, it looked like for a while there the core trio of Jane, Kickert, and Bustard seemed like a winning trio if you could just put the right pieces around them to, you know, be there. And it just seemed like they tried, obviously, bringing in experience with the Dren, but that hasn't really worked out so well. Sanji is a decent like support player, but not really a big breadwinner. And I just really felt like if you kind of took that trio and you added some other like really big riflers like a Sumdai Young or like some of these other players that are sitting out there, like a Flit, you know, you could build something. Or, I mean, dude, there's so many good operas in the CIS region that you could build around any of them, I feel like, with the right rifling core, the right leadership, and really have something special. Like, you even have Shiro and Axel over on Game Youngsters, who I think are also quite skilled. Maybe some of these crazy guys are going to eventually, you know, be consistent enough to catch attention. So it is wild to me that there's only one CIS team in the top 10 right now. Definitely think that there's enough talent out there for more. Maybe even two teams.
Yeah, I believe you said that when it comes to Crazy's ages, the eldest player is Psycho, who's 23, and the rest of them are between 21 and like 18 years of age.
Right.
So, I mean, we could be watching players now that in a couple years' time are towards the top level. That's always the exciting thing about casting tournaments like this, is like you never know, you know, when you're actually going to see that next up-and-coming star player take shape.
Right.
Like, I remember, for example, casting Simple when he was back on Flipside, and there was a huge buzz around him back in those days, and you could really see it. Obviously, he wasn't the player he is now, but you could see that there was that groundwork already put into place for him to be an absolute monster.
Yeah. It's kind of wild to me to see how far VP's fallen. Like, back when they were at Avangard with a slightly different lineup, they were a top 10 team.
Yeah.
And then they've really fallen off, and Spirit's built up a bit, but still not quite at that critical mass yet. And again, it seems like a lot of the talent just kind of spread out between a bunch of different teams. If you get it all together in a couple of key places, then maybe you'd have really something special. But either way, we can stop chitter-chattering. We've been able to fill the gap there. We finally are into the second half, and we are going to be seeing Crazy looking to lay into this B-bomb site here. They have to play a little bit of catch-up, as Syman do have a 3-round lead.
No count. Flashbang follows in, and Syman just massacring the oncoming Crazy players, and Blinking would have missed it. Flashes, smokes, death. Syman Gaming take the second pistol. They move 10-6 in the
Wrecked. Just absolutely wrecked, Vince. They got put in the Ninja Blender. It got put on the Ice Crusher mode, which is the highest speed. And, yeah, they got blitzed.
That's pretty much the cleanest kind of B-hold that you could ask for against a B-rush. I don't think it gets too much cleaner than that.
I thought you said something else besides B-hold.
I'm trying to figure out what it said.
I mean, really think about it. You just change one letter, and you'd get it. You're like the cleanest B-hold.
All right, I see.
Yeah, I mean, with your accent too, man, it really did sound... I'm sorry. I'm too immature for this. I really am.
Look, it's been a long day.
Exactly. Like you take my immature brain and you give me, like 14 hours of casting, and Gonna have a couple. Okay, then, with this P250. Quickly trading back, at least.
Yeah, but at least it's going to force at least, you know, one buy to be picked back up again. And if they can get more kills from this, then it's a decent start. But it's not going to happen. Still, nice effort with the P250. Syman 11-6 lead. Here comes a buy, though. Keep in mind, additionally, that sure, these guys may not have been playing consistently throughout the last 14 or so hours, but they have been playing for a long time today. They've been putting in the shift, they've been putting in the grind. So a lot of respect to these players for pulling it off. Of course, some people are going to say it's their job, but to concentrate for this long, it does require quite a lot of mental fortitude on these players with so much pressure and so much on the line. At the end of the day, this is the early stages, but this is your track towards qualifying for the major.
Yep.
And so these are very important matches, and we are going to have an elimination come the end of this, and Mo through the smoke will finalize the kill onto CSGO. Big start to round 18.
And things are starting off swimmingly for Syman, who are already ahead. They're just going to keep coasting towards the finish line of Inferno, it seems. They won the last 3 of the first half, as well as having a big streak kind of in the center. And now they've kicked off the second half just the way they've needed to, and a victory here would cause a save from Crazy, a chance to get to 13 before Crazy could buy again. So that is certainly great news for Syman. They just need to put the finishing touches on this. They already have 1 kill to the good. They have Psycho quite low. They still have a couple of pieces of utility to stall out this B-bomb site, but it might be forced through here. We see the fire coming in from Crazy. They're looking to lay into the site vents.
The site is ripe for the taking, and Crazy want to take it right now before the rotations can come into play. Mo is the closest there, just needs to stay alive for the rest of his teammates. He knows that they're coming in. There's actually a bit of team damage done to Dem QQ, who walks in the way of the Galil. It's not ideal. Actually puts him in headshot range of those M4s.
Mm-hmm.
This is where Syman would love to have an incendiary. They'd love to have one to just plug up one of those angles at the back side of the site and force the T's out into the open and just deal with them. That isn't really possible. And our Dem QQ going to be spraying up on the CT side. They can focus their attention on Ruins. This round's over. Norbert can do nothing. And it's a great hold in the end from Crazy. 7-11 the score.
I just felt like they tried to force a couple of things there that didn't work. Like they tried to push through the CT smoke, and that didn't go anywhere. And there's a couple other things that just was kind of a mishap, I guess you could say, for Syman on that hold. Definitely seemed like they had their chances based on positioning and their utility, but just didn't make it happen. It's cracked open the door a bit here for Crazy now to try to close the gap a bit and keep this game a closer one, especially since Syman have really forced up into this and they don't have that much to work with, and if they lose, they are definitely saving. It's very much a swing round when it comes to economy for both of these teams.
Oh, no doubt. A lot rests on this. In terms of the firepower, certainly Crazy have the fairly glaring advantage. Whether they can impose it or not is another matter entirely. A little bit surprised to not see Syman go for some kind of aggressive plays, whether it be down banana or in apps. This is something we saw Crazy do to pretty strong effect when they had SMGs. But Syman seemingly happier to just sit back.
Yeah. Different style, different school of thought. They definitely still have smokes and incendiaries that can stall out B-side a bit, so they can still play at standard and hope to push the MP9 elsewhere. Especially if you can get like a close range fight inside of the A side itself or something along those lines. Maybe still could see something.
All 5 players from Crazy starting to pincer onto A. The predatory instincts kicking in. Syman have Norbert, who's taking a different angle behind the smoke, playing anti-flash, anticipating this play, and that is perfect. All of the advantages that Crazy had have just been destroyed. That play from Norbert was exceptional. I love it. 12-7.
It's like one of those things, if you're not going to play aggressive with the MP9 right away inside of apartments that are top banana, then you have to find a way to make it work. Like, you have to create a situation. And when he sees that smoke, he realizes, this is my opportunity to try to get in someone's face with this MP9 and get the most out of it. And he makes a great maneuver that was completely undetected. Lines up the multi-frag, collects an AK for himself as well. And Norbert has just been on a tear this game. 19 kills to his name. Definitely at this point going to be in the mid-20s probably before it's all said and done. Crazy on the save. Just some P250s and Deagles, and there's Norbert. He's found 20.
Changing over the AWP to Norbert now. Mo is going to be using the AK instead as a result of the 12 HP. Goes out for the peek, wide swings, gets the kill, can turn tail, back away. Incendiary planted down. If the T's want to charge him, it's going to be through the flames. And now Neelan joins the veteran, and the two of them lay this round bare. 13-7, but crazy. Another buy coming up. If they want an AWP, it's going to be a glass cannon.
And it seems like they're not going to go that direction. It's going to go for the AKs and the Galil on Toxic. They're starting to run out of time, Vince, because the funds are just not there. If they lose this, then it's kind of back to basically force buying the rest of the game because you don't want to give Syman map point for free. So they really need to put something together here and now. And look at this aggression from the CT side, down middle, looking to try to choke out their opponents here. So far, the exchange has gone their way. Great response, though, from Sergey.
Yeah, good retaliation to kick off the round. Wanted to make sure they didn't go too far behind in terms of the manpower, so keeping themselves in this. But now they're moving towards Banana. This leave Toxic alone, and that aggression from Norbert. Like, you can just see the confidence manifesting in frags. Sergey survives with 1 HP, and he's now the last man standing. Mo won't realize he's solo, otherwise he'd definitely have his sidearm out, but it doesn't matter. Still lands the shot center mass. And Syman Gaming take the 14-7 lead, and the economy for Crazy is rough again.
Yep, it's pretty doo-doo. But again, it's like you kind of have to either force buy the rest of the half, or you take a middle-of-the-road approach with pistols, and then you play for OT. And it seems like they've taken option B, which, again, Tech-9s now are so damn powerful. So I would not put it past Crazy if they get the right flashes out and get in the faces of these Syman players to make the Tech-9s really go to work.
That's a chunk of an aid.
Oh, yeah. That's a tactical nuke there.
Certainly agree as well. I think Tech-9s are now going to be one of those kind of half buys that actually can be very, very deadly. And if nothing else, you're going to be able to get a few kills out of it, potentially a bomb plant. Molly down, they're going to be running through the flames. That has been extinguished, but now Norbert, this flash is going to clear and kills up on the board. But Toxic, big one dig. Sensei also chipping in with a frag. Norbert's running out of ammunition, jumps over the bullets. Actually, very intelligently done. I think it was a panic. He switched weapons, realizing it jumped up so he would take less damage to the legs rather than the chest or the head.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. Either way, he's done what he's needed to do. And indeed, like, as I think if when coaches really sit down and start building strats around how good the Tech-9 is now, I definitely think you'll see a lot more eco victories win off the back of them in certain maps and situations. Didn't happen that time, though, for Crazy, as Syman do get to map point. Full buy is back for Crazy, including the op on Sensei. Aggression, though, is going to be maybe their demise. Oh, my goodness, Vince, it's already almost over.
It pretty much is over now, Dust. Sensational round to clean up the map at 16-7. It looked very comfortable, very easy in the end, as they win their choice of Inferno. Syman move 1-0 in the lead in this best of 3.
Oh, yeah, you blink, you missed that round. That was pretty dominant stuff from Syman, but that's going to be pretty much, I think, enough from us, at least for now, Vince. We're going to go ahead and pass it over to our panel of lovely gentlemen to further discuss what transpired there on Inferno. Take it away, Kyle and the boys.